What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fit Focus Forum. Today's Fit Focus Forum is called Unanxious Food Logging with AI at Restaurants. Okay, we want to stop letting your calorie count dictate your social schedule. So I want to talk about something that I know creates a ton of anxiety for us, especially those of us who travel a lot or just have a crazy schedule. I was just speaking to my client a moment ago about his work where he's never at home. He's always somewhere else. Now, even though these places are someone else's homes, we're not in our natural environment. And when we're not in our natural environment, our home base, it does make food logging a little bit more challenging. So let's be real. You're at a restaurant, you're out on a date, you're at a business dinner, and you're staring at the menu. You have a protein goal to hit and a calorie goal to stay within. But how do you figure out the macros for a pan-seared halibut with asparagus and lemon butter sauce, right? You could try to eyeball it. All right. We do have the hand portion conversions from Precision Nutrition that we use with our clients. They are great, but that's a lot of guesswork, right? You could look it up, but that means pulling out your phone and Googling random numbers and trying to estimate what the chef did. And, it can get quite confusing. And by the time you've done all that, the anxiety's already set in and you're just stressed out and your attention has been taken away from the important part of the meal, which is honestly, if you're out to dinner, everyone around you. So there has to be a better way, right? There is. I love AI and I'm afraid of AI all at the same time. So what I've really been focusing on, and I'm very, very lucky to be married to a software architect that has really guided me personally in how to use AI, not just in our lives, but in our business as well. And it is very useful if you know how to use it, okay? Using AI to take the anxiety out of food logging is an amazing tool. So that being said, what if I told you that in less than a minute, you could get a solid estimate of the macros for that dish and how to log it with zero anxiety? All right. So AI is the secret, right? It's like your personal nutrition assistant. Think of it like this. All right. It's your food logging app, whether it's Trainerize or MyFitnessPal. That is just a calculator. It needs numbers to work. The real work is finding the numbers. And that's where AI really shines. Okay. It can do the heavy lifting for you so you can focus on enjoying your life or enjoying those around you if you're at a meal with friends, family, even coworkers. The key to using AI really is knowing how to ask the right questions. Right? You don't need to be a macro wizard. You just need to be a good prompter. All right. I feel like this is what people don't necessarily understand about using AI, right? The most is that most people think that you can just ask it things, right? And it's just going to give you the answer that you want. But what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're being specific about the information that you want it to give you. Now, we could go into, how to train AI bots to do specific things for you. That's a little bit more useful for things like business applications, or if you're planning a trip to Costa Rica, like my husband and I decided to do last night. We used AI for that. But we're going to use AI in a much simpler way today, just by opening a new chat and asking it what we need to know. All right. So let's walk through a few live examples. I'm going to demonstrate this using a couple of different scenarios because we all know not every restaurant is the same. Now, I've been using Gemini. I like to use that because it's connected to my Google account. And a little tip from the husband, who, as I said, is a software architect. He feels like Gemini really is the most useful of the AIs at the moment. But as you guys know, this is a really quickly developing technology. So that might not always be the case right now. That's my choice. All right. But the same principles can apply to ChatGPT or any other AI that you have available to you. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys my Gemini. And then please forgive me if I look to the right. Because I have a couple screens and that's where I have my Gemini on so that I can have my Zoom open on this screen here. All right. So let's talk about the easiest scenario first. Most big restaurants have their menu online. Before you even leave the house or while you're away, you can pull it up, right? Let me just double check something here to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. All right, awesome. So I like that. That's a really important piece right there before you get to the restaurant. let's try to do a lot of this stuff before we sit down at the table if we can. All right. There's a couple things that you're going to have to do while you're in the restaurant if you're picking a specific meal on the menu and trying to find information about it. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But like if you're in the car on the way to the restaurant, or if you're on the subway or however else you transport yourself to where you're going, as long as obviously you're not on a bike or a scooter, please don't look at your AI while you're on your bike or your scooter. I have crashed multiple times doing stupid shit in my life, and it's because I'm not paying attention. Broken hand through a taillight in a car on my motorcycle because I looked down for 5 seconds. So anyway, little side note there, but doing a lot of this stuff before you get to the restaurant is going to save you time so that you can actually enjoy yourself while you're there and create less anxiety. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to open Gemini and you're going to give it a prompt like this. And forgive me, guys, but I am going to use my voice texting or my voice on my computer because I'm not the worst typer on earth, but I would be sitting here making mistakes, and this would last a lot longer than the 15 or 20 minutes that I had planned. I'm at a restaurant. Here's the link to their menu. I need a dinner that is high in protein and around 500 to 600 calories. My protein goal for this meal is 40 to 50 grams. Based on their menu, what would you suggest, and what are the estimated calories in protein? Now, before I hit send, I have Olive Garden pulled up. All I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the link to the Olive Garden and I'm going to paste it right in line. The AI is going to be able to figure out what order we want that in. And it's going to give us the information that we need. So sometimes it does take a minute for the AI to read the menu. So while it's doing that, here's a little tip when searching for the menu online. Search for the restaurant menu PDF if possible, all right? If you can't find the link to the website. The link to the website works really well. Sometimes a restaurant will have a PDF. You can upload that to the app as well. You can upload photos. It will be able to read the photos. I have found that the best way to do this is to paste the website though. All right, I just wanted to give you a couple more ideas in case you're having any trouble. Okay, so based on the Olive Garden nutritional information, the best dinner entree for your protein and calorie goals is the 6-ounce Tuscan sirloin. It contains an estimated 310 calories and 46 grams of protein, and it fits into your goal of 40 to 50 grams, and it's close to your desired calorie range. So this is great. It's giving you the entree. Now, I like to be clear and make sure that the information that I'm getting from my AI is specific to my situation. So I'm going to ask, does this include the sides that come with the dish? This is a really important piece of information, right? Because if we look at that, I'm thinking 310 calories. It does not include the sides. There we go. All right. So a separate entry with a side of fettuccine Alfredo lists a total of 980, which is outside the desired range. It's giving you a better option here of the Earl grilled sandwich, or salmon, excuse me. So we did something there, right? The AI gave us a piece of information, but as with anything AI, you have to make sure that it's giving you the right information. You can't just take it at its word, all right? It is not perfect. So now we have a better option. The herb grilled salmon, which has a total of 460 calories and 45 grams of protein, and is served with Parmesan garlic broccoli. It falls perfectly within your calorie and your protein goals. Pretty cool, right? So another example I wanted to give is Chick-fil-A, all right? Fast food. Sometimes we have to eat fast food. We're on the road, we're at a rest stop, we're waiting to get onto the Long Island Railroad to go to Fire Island, whatever it may be, and you're in an area or a situation where you need to grab something and bring it with you, and there's not a lot of options, okay? So what we can do is we can use the same prompt that we used before, but just paste the menu from Chick-fil-A. And I chose Chick-fil-A because honestly, I know there was some controversy around this place a while ago. I've kind of gotten over that because, you know, we deal with a lot of gay men here, so I think this is appropriate for the conversation. Basically, everywhere on earth is probably owned by somebody that doesn't agree with your political views or your lifestyle. So I've just kind of decided to put all of the hate chicken stuff aside and eat at Chick-fil-A because that shit is magically delicious. The food is amazing, and it is one of the fast food restaurants that makes it the easiest to eat fast food and stay on track. So I'm going to use the same prompt. I'm at a restaurant. Here's the link to their menu. I need a dinner that is high in protein and around 500 to 600 calories. My protein goal for this meal is 40 to 50 grams based on their menu. What would you suggest? And what are the estimated calories and protein? Again, before I hit send, I'm just going to tap that chicken filet, which you can have pulled up on your phone. It does work better if you paste the link rather than asking the AI to find it for you. A lot of times it won't do that. And then voila. Now, when I was doing this in practice, it gave me this one a lot faster. Based on the nutritional information available, some dinner options at Chick-fil-A that fit into your calorie goals are the Chick-fil-A grilled chicken club sandwich, 520 calories, right? It's a good option, close to your calorie goal, and within the protein range. Now, also the Chick-fil-A cool wrap, 660 calories, 43 grams of protein. Both great options, right? If you're looking to stay within that 500, 600 calorie range, this is a tiny bit over, but maybe you can, offset that somewhere else throughout the day. To get closer to your protein goal with the club sandwich, you can consider adding small grilled nuggets. But honestly, guys, 37 to 40 grams of protein per meal is probably going to get you to your protein goal. Like, we want a high protein diet when we're trying to lose weight. We don't need to go crazy eating 70, 100 grams of protein per meal though. All right. So how can we make this even better? Is this just for the sandwich alone, or can I add sides? Being very specific. This is what I was talking about at the beginning. We want to make sure that we are actually coaching the AI to give us the information that we need. So I'm not going to read through this whole thing with you, right? But it gives you an information now. If you pair it with a fruit cup, 70 calories, it's going to be a total of 590 calories and 38 grams of protein. To me, this sounds like a much more appetizing meal than just having the sandwich. For me, that wouldn't fill me up, right? Small kale crunch salad, right? 170 calories, 690 grams, 41 grams. So all of this stuff is very easy to figure out when you have AI in your pocket, okay? Even a small waffle fry, 420 calories if you're going with the cool wrap, right? If you decide you're going to go with the cool wrap and have a waffle fry because you've just been dying for fries all day, you're going to notice something important here without the dressing. Okay, the cool wrap that I gave us above had more calories because it had the dressing. Guys, dressing is one of the things at fast food restaurants that will make something that seems healthy super unhealthy right away. If you order a salad at McDonald's and put the entire packet of dressing on it, that salad at McDonald's is going to be as close to the same amount of calories as a Big Mac. It's crazy, right? Because dressing, especially if it's like a ranch or blue cheese or something like that, high in fat, high in sugar, has a lot of calories. All right. Here's the dressing considerations too. All right. So it's going to give you a couple more options. So that's if you're at a chain restaurant. Pretty cool. Let's talk about, if you're at a small privately owned restaurant with no online menu, right? This is one that used to trip us up the most. And you have to describe your dish. The more descriptive you are, the better the answer is going to be. Again, making sure you're guiding your AI as specifically as possible so that you get the right answer. So let's give this one a shot, guys. I'm at a restaurant with no menu online. For dinner, I'm thinking of ordering the pan-seared halibut with asparagus and a lemon butter sauce. Would you estimate the calories and protein for the dish? My goal is high protein and around 500 to 600 calories. Okay, so the AI is going to use its vast knowledge to give you a solid estimate. Okay, giving it a second here, it's telling us a lot of information about halibut, right? So sometimes it's going to give you more information than you want or that you asked for. But a 6-ounce fillet is approximately 250 to 300 calories. A side of steamed or pan-seared asparagus adds very few calories. And the lemon butter sauce is what can vary greatly, but servings around 150 to 250. All right. So the estimate for this meal is a great choice. And you get to have a sauce. Now, quick note here. How could I modify this meal if I wanted to have a small dessert? And you'll see that the voice text is not always perfect. So that should say meal. It's probably going to tell me to get rid of the butter sauce. I'm curious if it's going to go that route. If it is, this is working exactly. There it is. Request the sauce on the side, ask for a lighter sauce, or ask the fish to be grilled instead of pan-seared because grilled is typically less fat, than pan-searing because pan-searing usually always uses some type of oil. It's also now giving me suggestions for desserts that will fit into my calorie goal. Pretty fucking cool, right? I think that this is one of the most useful tools for us to make sure that we stay on track. And now remember, you have that 20% where you're allowed to go off track. But when you go off track, you still want to make sure that you keep it in control. So maybe this is a night where you're allowing yourself a couple hundred extra calories. So instead of that sorbet, you're going to split a cheesecake with your friend at the table. Go at it. Remember, part of the modified macro method is making sure that you don't cut out all the stuff that you love. Okay, let's do a couple more examples. Let's talk about the Italian restaurant. You see chicken parm with a side of pasta on the menu, right? Let's see what Gemini has to say about the chicken parm. The prompt would be, I'm at an Italian restaurant. I'm ordering chicken parmesan with a side of pasta. What would you estimate the calories and protein to be? My goal is high protein and around 500 to 600 calories. Now, there are a couple potential responses that I could see the AI giving. And if it's giving the proper one, it's going to tell you that this full order of chicken parmesan with a side of pasta will be over your calorie goal. So without going into detail with everything it said, 800 to 1,000 calories, you'd need to modify your order significantly. And a better approach would be to ask for grilled chicken instead of breaded and fried chicken, request no cheese or minimal cheese, and ask for a side salad or steamed vegetables instead of pasta. In my opinion, I would go a step further. Please tell me a better choice at an Italian restaurant that would fit into my dietary goals. Rather than sit there and trying to rip the menu apart. And I used to be a waiter, so I guess I'm a little bit more sensitive to this because sometimes that can make our lives a little challenging, especially when you're really busy. Just ask the AI, what's a better choice for me? Because tonight I am trying to stay on track. It's not one of my fun food days. They gave me grilled chicken or salmon, shrimp scampi, which actually sounds a little bit more exciting than the grilled chicken to me, or pasta with a lean protein and marinara sauce. So if you're not happy with the answer that it gave you, or it's giving you a complicated answer tearing the menu apart, and you don't want to cause issues for the waiter, or you just don't want to go through all that, just ask the AI, give me some better choices. I want to use a sushi spot as an example next, all right? So let's say you see tuna nigiri, salmon sashimi, and avocado roll on the menu. This is going to be your prompt. I'm at a sushi restaurant. I'm ordering tuna nigiri. I think I'm saying that right. I said it wrong before. Salmon sashimi and an avocado roll. What would you estimate the calories and protein to be for this meal? My goal is high protein and around 500 to 600 calories. All right, giving the AI just a second to work. And the information it's giving us that the totals work for the meal, 500 to 600 calories, 500 to 650, protein 45 to 60 grams. It's an excellent choice for your goals, very high in protein to fiber, fits within the calorie range, and then it breaks down each piece of the meal so you know exactly what you're getting out of it. Pretty cool. I think sushi restaurants are an excellent choice if you're trying to stay on track. There's a lot of options on there that are going to help you stay focused. Just make sure you avoid things like, heavy mayonnaises or lots of heavy sauces that might be full of sugar. And if you're having those, throw the name of that roll or whatever it might be that contains those items into the AI. Let it tell you what you need to do to either change that out or to make it work with your goals. I'm going to do one more here. All right, let's talk about the burger joint because I love burgers and I love eating at burger joints, especially if I'm traveling or running around New York City doing errands. So you're at the burger joint, you see a classic cheeseburger with a side of sweet potato fries. So the prompt is, I'm at a burger joint, I'm getting a classic cheeseburger with sweet potato fries. What's the calorie and protein estimate? My goal is high protein and 500 to 600 calories. And the AIs usually work pretty quickly. I've had it get stuck every once in a while and you have to reload the page, but Gemini, as I said, is very reliable. It would be over my calorie goal of 5 to 600. All right, so red flag. Okay, it's telling me that the cheeseburger is almost 600 calories on its own with only 15 to 30 grams of protein. Okay, sweet potato fries at another 500 calories, 250 to 5. So adding these together, the total would be too high, just like the chicken Parmesan, right? Here's the way that you can modify it. So the AI is giving you what you need to do to make sure that you stay on track. Order cheeseburger without the fries, opt for a side salad or like with a light dressing. Order a smaller cheeseburger if they have a smaller option. Skip the bacon, skip the cheese, skip the sauces, right? Ask for your burger naked, okay? And maybe with a side of steamed vegetables if they have that available. So pretty cool. I'm now going out to this burger joint. I'm staying on track. I feel comfortable. There's less anxiety, okay? Let's talk about going to a restaurant having no food type in mind and you want suggestions, right? I don't know what I want sometimes. And you can let the AI do the thinking for you. Now, this is one that I would absolutely try to do in the car, right? This is something that you're like, oh, I'm just trying to come up with shit, okay? So let's put a prompt in and see what we can get out of the AI. So I'm at a privately owned restaurant. I have no idea what to order. I'm looking for a high protein meal that's around 500 to 600 calories. My protein goal is 40 to 50 grams. What are some common dishes that could fit this? And it's going to give you a list of ideas, okay? Grilled chicken or fish, steak, large salad with lean protein, lean meat with roasted vegetables, okay? It also gives you the sides, the types of fish that you should be ordering, and everything that you need to know about making really positive choices where you're eating out. Now, what about adding appetizers, sides, and desserts? I know that when I'm sitting around with a bunch of my friends and they order this stuff, I want to be able to participate, right? So if you're helping make those decisions, right, and you can chime in and make some suggestions, maybe you're ordering a couple different appetizers and you want one of them to fit into your plan. Or maybe you want to indulge a little bit, right, without wrecking your macros. Let's throw in the prompt. I'm going to have dinner with a friend. I plan on ordering a grilled chicken breast with roasted vegetables. What would you suggest for a shared appetizer that fits into a 500 to 600 calorie meal? Voila. The AI is going to give you some really healthy choices like shrimp cocktail, steamed mussels, caprese skewers, or bruschetta, right? All things that are about 80 to 250 calories. That, if paired with the chicken breast with roasted vegetables, which you may have already looked up, could fit into, or maybe even just be a little bit over your calorie goal. I like to always think when I'm going out to restaurants that I'm going to give myself a little wiggle room. If it's like lunch in the middle of the day and you're just taking a break from work, try to stay on track as much as possible. You're by yourself, you can do a better job. But if you're out enjoying your life with friends, we don't want to have to be the guy at the table saying, no, I can't have that. No, I can't have that. Order something you can have so you don't have to like refuse the other stuff, right? You can just kind of be taking from what you know is in your plan. Now, the secret weapon is also accounting for the hidden calories. This is pro level shit. You know, when you're eating out, chefs use a lot of butter and oil to make things taste good, and we can't forget about that. So after you get the initial answer from the AI, just ask it to add the hidden calories. So the next prompt could be something like this. Can you add an estimate for the cooking oil or butter they might use to cook the chicken? What about any oils or dressings on a salad? So adding the estimated calories for cooking and oil and dressing gives a more complete picture of your meal. It's going to give you what a standard tablespoon of olive oil contains. Salad dressings, it says they vary in calories, but it gives you some ideas on which ones you should choose. Ways to, make sure that you're asking for your meal to be cooked properly. All right. Ask for the chicken grilled, right? When you're getting your side salad, get your dressing on the side. The AI is going to give you a lot of really good recommendations. So if you're sitting there stumbling, trying to figure out what you should eat, you got this. All right. And you're going to make sure that you cover all the calories that are in your meal. So let's talk about how to log this. All right. So once you have your numbers, you're going to go to your food logging app. You're going to search for the protein, whether that's the halibut or the grilled chicken. You're going to add the estimated macros, and then you're going to add a line item for the vegetables. Okay. So let's go back just for a moment and get the estimated calories for one of the pieces of proteins that we got. Let's talk about the tuna sashimi. All right. Calories, 250 to 300 calories. So what you want to do is you want to enter tuna sashimi into the app. And then you're going to adjust the serving size until it says 250 to 300 calories. All right. Let me know if that makes sense in the comments if you're watching this after. And if you need more explanation on that, let me know. So it's kind of like backwards food logging. Instead of writing, I've got, 6 ounces of chicken, you're putting in chicken and then adjusting the measurement until it tells you what the um, AI was telling you. Now, here's another thing you can pair this with. Our clients, as I said before, use hand portion conversions. They're a precision nutrition tool. Our clients have them in their app. You can use that hand portion conversion tool in combination with the AI. So I always recommend taking a picture of your hand next to the plate, and then you can log your food later based on the information the AI gave you, and then using the hand portion conversion guide. So basically, 4 ounces of protein is the size of your palm and the thickness of your palm. And then there's also measurements for fats and carbs as well. Okay. So you can do even better combining these two tools, right? So we can take all the guesswork out of this. And I want to remind you, if I haven't said this already, right? Food logging is not a direct science. Okay. You're never going to be perfect with food logging, even if you meticulously weigh every single thing that you put into your body. It can get a little bit obsessive if you think that you're going to try to get to be to a place where you're a perfect food logger. It just doesn't happen. I've been doing this for years. I'm actually food logging right now just for fun. I don't really have any specific weight gain or loss goals right now. I'm in a maintenance phase, but I'm doing it because I always like to remind myself of what our clients are going through so that I can continually be reminded of the things to suggest to help make this food logging thing just a little bit easier. That's actually why I decided to do this as our quote unquote podcast today, because I started food logging a few days ago and I thought this would be really appropriate. So basically the key takeaway here, guys, is AI is not going to replace your hard work, but it is a powerful tool for your toolbox. It's a way to get the information you need quickly with no stress so that you can make informed decisions and stay on track with your goals, even when life gets messy. This simple skill will take all the anxiety out of eating and keep you on track to hit your goals. So do me a favor, give it a try the next time you're out. I promise that it's a game changer. Thank you very much for listening. If you're listening to this on YouTube after the call, we help gay men with anxiety who are over 30, who like to travel often, lose that last 10 to 20 pounds or more. So if you're interested in finding out how you can move more quickly towards that goal, or if you're confused about anything that you're doing in your weight loss progress, or you haven't been able to get started at all, do me a favor, drop my turn in the comments, and someone from our team is going to reach out to you so that we can start the conversation and see how we can get you on track to feeling better, not just about what you see when you look in the mirror, but about how you feel as you start getting older. All right, thanks, guys. I hope to see you again on the next one.